YouTube. Your boy is back once again with another dating and relationships video. Okay, so the subject today is how to skip the date. Yes, how to skip the date. Now, I've touched on this subject before. I'm going to tell you how you skip the date. Now, first off, let me tell you, right? Now, you're not going to be able to skip the date with all women, but you can skip the date. And I'm going to tell you how. Now, for every man, so let's talk about women that are interested in you. They have some level of interest to the point that they are happy to meet you. Yeah? Not girls that's gonna fob you off or whatever and play games. So let's talk about the girls that are happy to meet you, okay? Right, now, there's a spectrum. Okay? Now, there's 3 sections of this spectrum. Yeah? Okay? There's an upper section, yeah, where these are girls that no matter what, they are not going to skip the date with you. Yeah? Either A, and that's the key word, you, because A, they just don't do that with any guy, or B, you're not amazing enough to skip the date with you. They might skip the date with Tyrone or Shaquan or the basketball player or the R&B singer, but they're not going to skip the date with you. So either they don't skip the date with anyone or they're not going to skip the date with you. That's the upper spectrum. That's the upper section of the spectrum. Yeah? Then there's the lower spectrum where there's girls there that you and whatever standards you have, every man's standards are different, but there's girls where you might sleep with. They're good enough to sleep with, but you definitely won't take these kind of girls on a date. Yeah? Right? So there's that small section where, you know, they might not be good enough for the date, but your standards can drop to their level just about. You'll sleep with them. So there's those girls. Those girls you know you're going to try and skip the date with if you even entertain them. The upper spectrum is the girls no matter what. Now, let's talk about the middle section of the spectrum. The reason for this video. Yeah? A lot of you guys are unaware that these girls in this section, right, you can skip the date with. You can skip the date with them. Now, either you can skip the date with this middle section, either because either A, she would definitely skip the date with you, regardless. You don't know that, but she will. Or maybe she thinks that, maybe in her mind, yeah, he needs to take me on a date first, but maybe there's actions you can display or things you can say to get this girl to skip the date with you. Right? Now, let me tell you, yeah, because most of these things that I'm saying is from experience. Okay? So, I have definitely taken girls on dates where later on in life, I realized that I didn't need to take the girl on the date. How did I find out? 2 different ways. The first way is some of the females have actually told me that they will bang me straight away without a date. So I did the date for no reason. And the other reason I know is just by learning, general learning. Years of learning about how females work and looking back and saying, I didn't need to take that girl on a date. She definitely would have banged me without the date. Yeah? So some of you guys might have found my channel because you're looking for dating advice. Or you may have seen my channel recommended on another dating coach's channel. But it's not just all about the date. You can skip the date. Right? So you're wondering how. Okay. Right. You need to assume she's going to come back to your house. So whether you meet the girl in person or on a dating site or on social media like Instagram, Snapchat, or Facebook, yeah, the first time you're going to meet the girl, you invite her back to your house. Not her house. You want to be in control. I'm not going to go into detail on that because that's going to be another video. Yeah, but you invite her around to your house. Don't ask her to come to her house. If she invites you to her house, that's a different thing. But you need to invite her to your house. Now, if you don't have a house to take her back to, then, or the house that you've got, you can't take her back for whatever reason, then there's another big step before all this. You need to, as they say, sort out your shit. But I'm not saying you cannot skip the date if you ain't got a place to take a girl back to, but it's beneficial that you got your own place. Or you might be living at your parents' house and got your own room. Cool. Yeah? But you ask her to come back. Right? Now, and you say it with confidence, and you need to believe that like the likelihood is that she's gonna say yes. Because then that's gonna come out in how confident you say it, right? Now, you don't just ask her back to your place. So if she doesn't, if she says no, you have to talk about an activity that you're happy to do on a date. So it don't just seem like, okay, I'm just trying to get a girl back, yeah? Obviously you are, yeah? But, listen, so this is what you do. Let's say, I understand a lot of you don't drink, but I'm going to start with the drinking thing, yeah? Or you might drink and the girl might not drink, but I'm guessing that more than 50% of you drink, so I'm going to use drinking, yeah? I'll try and use a couple of other examples. But, so let's say, for example, and as I've said in previous videos, if you do go on a date, the thing you want to do is take a girl for a drink. You don't want to over-invest without getting sex first. You don't want to take a girl out for a meal. That's over-investment. You don't want to take a girl out to cinema. How are you going to have a conversation and seduce her intellectually or seduce her, like, you know what I'm saying? Talk to her in a nice way, whatever. Like, cinema is not the thing for the first date. But, so you say a thing that so you ask her to come back to your yard to do an activity that you're happy to do on a first date. So, you ask the girl to come back to yours for drinks. Yeah. So this is the first time you're going to meet. You ask her to come to yours for drinks. If she says yes, simple. You have just skipped the date. You have just skipped the date. Now, if you're an adult, obviously, if you're a teenager, not a lot of the times a girl might not, want to sex the first time she comes to your house. But if you're an adult and you know what you're doing, yeah, you pretty much, if she's coming to your house, sex is pretty much going to happen, yeah? It's not guaranteed, but in my experience, it's pretty much guaranteed, yeah? So, what you want to do is you want to ask her back to your house for a drink. If she says no, then you don't, like, I don't want to go into other subjects because we're just talking about skipping a date. But if she says no, then you don't react in a certain way, like, oh, do any bitch move, yeah? All you do is just say, okay, like, so she might say to you, oh, I'm not comfortable coming back to yours. Only ask her back once, please. Don't say it more than once, yeah? If it's a girl that she's not worth the date, you could fob her off in your own way. You could just say, okay, whatever, and you just not respond to her, or you could just say to her, nah, you know what, like, if you're not coming back to my place, I don't really want to, whatever way you want to. But if you're happy to go on a date, then at least you've asked her for a drink, so then you've asked her to come back to yours for a drink. So then you say to her, okay, no problem, we can have a drink. I know a nice place at da-da-da-da-da. Make sure it's close to your house. So obviously, you're still going to ask her back to your house at the end of the date. But anyway, so let's get back to how to skip the date. So now, if she says, yes, you've just skipped the date. It's simple as that. But it's the way you say it. Yeah? It might be a telephone conversation. It might be via text. Yeah? Obviously, you could when you're talking on the phone, or if it's face to face, you've just met the girl and you're talking about meeting, yeah, obviously you could enhance it more with your verbal face-to-face encounter, or you can mess it up more. Whereas with messages, there's only so much you could do to display emotions, yeah? Right, so you ask her back. Now, to the guys who don't drink, or if the female doesn't drink, then there's other things. To me, a drink, and I'm not saying you need to get drunk or get the girl drunk. I'm not saying that. You can have a nice chilled 1 or 2 drinks, controllable drinks, and then you can seduce her with your words, and then you get the sex, which is what you want, right? But if you don't drink or she doesn't drink, then you could again, what I want you to do is use something that you're happy to do on a date. Yeah? So let's say you talk about a coffee. Obviously, a coffee or a tea or whatever is more of an afternoon thing. So if the girl's coming around to your house for coffee, no one really wants too much caffeine in their system at night. So you might invite her around in the afternoon. So yeah, you can sex girls in the afternoon, whatever, in the morning or whatever. Yeah. So you might ask her for coffee. You might say, not a meal, but you might say, do you want to come around to mine for a takeaway? Now, obviously, to some girls, they're going to be like, what's this guy talking about? Come to mine for a takeaway. But it is what it is, isn't it? What you say to a female, it depends on the scale you put her onto. If you're talking about a 7 out of 10, you might not worry about her thinking, well, what is this guy on? You want me to come around to mine for a takeaway? But if it's a 9 or a 10 out of 10, you might think of a more clever way to introduce, if you don't drink or if she don't drink. Yeah. Again, you might say to her, do you want to come around to mine for a movie? Yeah, drink is the number one thing. I'm only saying these other things if you don't drink or she don't drink, yeah? You might say to come around for a movie. Now, if she says no, then you have to be prepared to take that girl on to the cinema, because, as I'm telling you, to seem like you're not butthurt and to maintain the flow of the conversation, you want to say, okay, like she's expressed that she's not comfortable coming back to yours for the first date or whatever, for the first encounter, yeah? Whether you've met her in person or not, the first time you met her or it's online, she might not be comfortable. But if you say come round to mine for a movie, then I suggest if she says no, then you're saying to her, okay, look, we can go out for a movie then, no problem. But it's going to be difficult to, seduce the woman and get to know the woman on a cinema date. You pretty much probably have to do something other than that on the date. Yeah? Maybe go for some mocktails, some fake cocktails beforehand or after. So that you can pretty much after. So you could talk to her, seduce her, and still try and get her back to yours. Yeah? But all you have to do to skip the date is to simply ask her in an assumptive way, in a confident way. Yeah, some of this work, because obviously if you guys are not experienced doing this, some of this work is going to have to happen in your head beforehand, before you ask her. Do you get that? Yeah, you're going to have to, like, if you're a guy that's not really confident, you're going to have to think to yourself, how am I going to say this to her? How am I going to say this to her? Again, you could be having telephone conversations, you could be voice noting each other, you could have encountered her face to face. Do you get that? Like, you could meet a girl in a nightclub, yeah? Right? You could meet a girl in a nightclub, and you could be trying to ask her to come back to yours after the nightclub. Right? Say to her, okay, and gents, you need to have some, this is for the gents that drink, and if the girl drinks, you need to have some alcohol in your house. You need to be prepared. So you might meet a girl in a nightclub. The nightclub might be one of them nightclubs that finish early at 2:00. You still got energy. She still got energy. You say, oh, why didn't you come back to mine for a drink? Now, taking girls back home from nightclubs are easier than, meeting a girl in, a different social setting during the daytime, taking her back to yours. But if she still says no in that situation, they say, no problem. Like, we can, we can go for a drink another day. Like, we can go out for, oh no, you can come back to mine for a drink, another day if you don't want to come back today. Maybe we'll talk on the phone a bit first. If she still don't want to come back to you after the first date, then you simply, okay, we'll go out for a drink. If she's not in your bottom category, yeah? Another tip, guys, yeah? And I purposely left this later on in the video because I don't want you to rely on this. But in these times, it's a useful tool if you want to fall back on it, yeah? We are currently, at the recording of this video, still in coronavirus times, yeah? Different kind of lockdowns in different part of the world. Now, if she makes a comment, so she might not say yes or no straight away. She might say something like, "Oh, you expect me to come back to yours on the first encounter, or on the first date or whatever?" You simply say to her, "Yeah, I don't really trust this COVID thing. I'm quite a cautious kind of guy, so I don't really want to be in a public setting with loads of people." At the time of the recording of this, in the UK, currently, pubs and bars are shut. But who knows when you might be watching this video, yeah? But if you're watching this in coronavirus times, but the bars and pubs are open and nightclubs are open, yeah, but it's still coronavirus times, then you could say to the female, if she sort of stalls giving you an answer by saying to you, "Oh, you think I'm going to come back to yours?" So she hasn't said yes or no, but what, you want me to come back to yours? Say, "Yeah, no, like to me, that's the best thing, to be honest, because I'm not really feeling going out in a public setting where there's lots of people and risking the virus. Obviously, like, I want to meet you, but I'm not really on being out in a public setting where there's loads of people and the virus is going around. Now, I don't want you to rely on this line, but you could use this as a backup if she doesn't give you an answer straight away. But only if she doesn't give you an answer straight away. If it's a flat out no, don't even bother bring that up. Because you're giving her the opportunity to say no again. Don't let her reject you. So, okay, if she says no, I don't, that's my thing. I'm definitely not going to come to your house. No problem, that's cool. We just go out for a drink, innit? Boom. Boom. Do you understand? So, but yeah, if it's lockdown, you guys, if you're still on the date linking girls and it's lockdown, then yeah, this is an excuse in it, the whole coronavirus thing. But I don't know how many years this coronavirus thing's gonna go on, and I don't know how many years this video is gonna be here. So that's just a little added thing. But generally, what you're gonna do to skip the date is ask the female confidently to come back to yours. Use assumptive words as well, yeah? So, okay, so she's happy to link you now. Okay, we're gonna meet. So tell her so you might have some drinks at yours already, but tell her that, yeah, I bought a couple of drinks. Yeah, I know you said you like brandy, so yeah, I've got a couple of brandy. Yeah, so when you're free to come round to mine. Yeah? Not do you want to come round to mine? When are you free to come round to mine? Or I was wondering what your schedule looks like on Saturday, because I've got a couple of drinks for us. You need to say it because some girls are borderline, yeah? The girls in the top end of the spectrum are definitely not going to do it. We're not going to hold a gun to her head. No. We're not going to hold a gun to those girls' head. You know, you've got your hard-hitting rule. Cool. If I see you as good enough, then yeah, we'll go on that date, innit? But these women that could be swayed, call it manipulation tactics all you want. Because whilst you're busy taking these girls in the middle on a date, better believe when you take her for a drink on Saturday evening, the date is at 7 p.m. and you part ways at 10 p.m. Best believe that there's a percentage of these girls that Tyrone is coming to see them later. They might have been sleeping with Tyrone for a while, but also Tyrone never ever took them on a date. Yeah. So remember the spectrum I'm talking about now. So there's the top side of the spectrum, girls that either are not going to allow you to skip the date because that's just their hard hit rule, or you're not good enough. So they're good enough. You're good enough for her to go on a date with, and she sees you as good enough. If you don't mess it up, eventually sleep with, but she's not going to skip the date. Then you've got the girls where there's girls that you would sleep with that you're not gonna spend no money on them. So these girls can come around or they can piss off you, right? But it's the girls in the middle. Trust me, a lot of these girls are going to come back. Yeah. As I said before, I have taken girls on dates where I've later discovered that I didn't need to take these girls on dates. Yeah. And the thing is, a date is an investment because you could meet a girl, link her, not have a date, and sleep with her a few times, and you actually get on with this girl. And then you actually don't mind going out with her for drinks. Even if she's not your girlfriend, okay, like, I'm linking this girl, okay, what are we gonna do this time? Oh yeah, let's go to this new place. You might want to. You might not want to. You might just want to keep. But I'm teaching you guys how to skip the date, because a lot of these girls are going to waste your time. They will turn up to the first date and never see you again. Or you might be the one messing it up. She might be a girl that would come to your house and sleep with you on the first date. But now that you've gone on a date with her, she's seen something in you and is like, nah, I'm not really feeling this guy. You get me? So you want to minimize your investment, and I'm not just talking about monetary investment. I'm also talking about your time. Yeah? Even if it's a girl that you think, okay, and you shouldn't be thinking like this, but if you have not got this out of your mind and you see certain girls and say to yourself, that's wifey just by her looks, which you shouldn't do. But even if it's a girl like that, you see like that, don't think, oh, I see her as wifey, so I need to wine and dine her first. No. Still try to skip the date. You need to try to skip the date with all females you encounter. Unless you don't want to sex them, innit? Unless it's just a friend you're looking for. Unless it's just a friend you're looking for, you need to try to skip the date. And cut out the time. Cut out the time for the day. Yeah, because it's an investment on both ways. Man and woman want different things. You want the sex. Yeah, you might want other things from the female eventually, but you are attracted to her by her beauty and her body. She might think you're cute. She might like your body, but women, it's about a lot more. I'm not going to go through the list because I've spoken about this on different videos many times. Yeah? Okay? So what I want you guys to do, every girl you have an encounter with, yeah, you want to try and skip the first date. If it's unsuccessful, you only ask once. You don't do no sulking thing about it. You don't do no bitch thing about it. You don't pause. You're like, okay, you're asking her to come back to do something that you're happy to do on a date. If you drink and she drinks, it should be drinks. It's the best way, yeah? Okay, come back to mine for a drink. Okay, she says no. She says flat out no. Okay, cool, that's fine. I know this spot over there. Already have a spot in your head. Oh, I know this spot over here. I think you might like it. Like, how's your schedule looking for Saturday? But if she says yes, boom. If she says, whatever. And if she comes out with that rubbish about we'll see, any kind of hesitation, we'll see. Okay, let me know. The offer stands, but just let me know. And then, let's say, for example, it's a WhatsApp or text conversation. Then once she does the in and and just say, okay, let me know. And then that's it. You don't pursue no more. She needs to come back to you and let you know. But I'm kind of moving into other tactics now. So I just want to focus on skipping a date in this video. So ask every female, right? Only ask once. And as I said, in this kind of coronavirus time, you could use that as a fallback if she don't give you a straight answer there and then. So that's it, guys. Let me know any stories you've had in the comments below any female that you feel that you could have slept with straight away, that you've taken on a date first. I'm guilty of it. I'm not ashamed to say it. I've definitely taken girls on dates where the girl has later told me that I could have slept with them straight away. Also, just there's been situations where they haven't told me, but I just know. Don't get me wrong. From day dot, yes, I've slept with girls on the first date, even though I've made a mistake on some of the dates. And I guess as a teenager as well, when you're a very young age, like if you sleep with girls from a young age, then it's kind of easier when you're a teenager because you do all the linking stuff, and females don't really have high expectations. They don't expect you to have your own house, own car. You might not even be old enough to have your own car yet. Then that teenager stage, but I know there's some of you guys out there that you might lose your virginity later on in life. So you haven't experienced that thing where, you know, when I'm a teenager, it's like I've blatantly just like met girls and yeah, come to my yard, and they're not expecting to. But growing up, becoming an adult, some women are going to expect dates, or incorrectly, you're going to assume that you have to take them on a date first, right? So let me know if you have any stories. Let me know if you've got any further tips on to share with the community about skipping dates for women, yeah? Because remember, it's not just the money investment, it's the time investment. If you like the video, click a thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe if you've done so already. And hit that notification bell so that YouTube lets you know when I upload another dating and relationships video.